All right, so the question was like defense on sword and shield, right? So if we're out at range, obviously I get my first shot, right? So you block that, so it comes to here. I usually want to get something like this. This is generally achievable. This is a little more controlling, but this is so much harder to count on. And if I miss this in some way and goes to here, you just kill me. So this takes away your at least your initial shot. But the trick is you can get away, right? So what I need to do is get here and do this. Your shield's protecting my offside.
Yeah, let's rotate because I just want your voice going toward it.
Ah, okay. So after you get past that first shot, what I'm trying to do is bind you up against your chest. So this hand's pushing into there pretty good against your weapon. This hand's on the outside of the shield.
Right.
So this keeps you here, right? It's hard to get away, plus you're not going to want to. But if you're in that area there, what I really want to do is this. Yeah. Now what this does is it makes it where your shield is now on my back and your sword is trapped up against your own arm. Right. And if you pull out, you're kind of stuck there a little bit. So even get to there, it just becomes this. And you would think, well, that can't be very powerful. But the trick of it is, you got to look where the foot stances are too. My back foot's set to do a twist. My front leg is pushed back here. So there's a little bit of tension, but not much through our armor again. And what I want to do is keep this Q end here. So that when you pull out, there's that. And that is super, super, super gentle.
Right.
Like I didn't do much of the body grab, I just kind of pushed it.
Right. And so you're getting a leverage. That's a short distance, but because this tip is coming out, it's you're getting.
This gets my speed, and the body leverage gives me my weight.
And you can even, could you pivot off that?
Oh yeah, I could, but that
is even.
I don't want to hit you that hard.
Right. Understood. Okay, so when you get okay, me describing our fights, right? We have our the place where I'm at the edge of your range. I can't hit you, right? All I can do is be defensive out here, right? I'm not a threat to you.
At this point, no.
I want to cross this space,
right?
Okay. Now this space here, I might be able to hit you, but this is where a lot of your offensive options come in.
Right. That's my beautiful range outside of my free shot.
So
this is good.
And so we can talk about the defense of how do you handle defense at this range?
At that range, a lot of times. So if we're back, here, let's just you back up a little bit back to long range, so we don't walk out of your camera. So let's say this misses, right? I throw something like that, whatever. So what I want to do here is I reach out, and I'm kind of crossing off of your eyes, but I'm also crossing off your easy flat step. So if you try to reach out for that, bang.
And now you've actually got the better position.
Yep. And I'm also in a better body position because now I can push into here, which makes this tricky. But it allows me to shift to here.
Okay, and now you've gotten into your inside. So kind of your defense in that middle zone is to tie me up so that you can get to your really strong defense when you're inside.
If I can. Now, if I couldn't for some reason, like if I have to fight my way out of that, like there's just something wrong, I can't get to you, or like let's just say we're offset a bit, so bring up your shield. So I can't get over there as quickly as I need, but you're here now, right? And so I'm initially here, but when you started moving, I should have done this, right? So I should have that hand grip. The first thing I'm going to do is go to here, because this is my most obvious starting defense. The reason being is you can't see it from that angle as easy as I can from here, but your shield is kind of cutting off some of your body shots, right? This part over here can be hit, but to do that you have to traverse. So then it becomes like that, or if I time it better, and I'm here, I can catch this, and then I can try to come over here, and then that one, all one movement, obviously. But if I'm this far away and I have this angle,
and so your defense is actually fully extended out. It's pushed all the way out for that mid-range.
Yeah, because I need the angle cut.
Right.
Okay. You know, if I do this, I'll get hit.
Right.
Because I have to traverse my whole body. Out here, I do that. And I've got the whole thing again. So if you try to throw a flat snapper wrap, it's not getting to me. That's just not going to happen. You could try to throw the offside into the leg, that's the closest thing forward, or the offside body, and that's what I'm looking for. This is designed to take your easy stuff and say, nope, and make you go here. Because a couple things happen. If you step over here, then I get an easier chance to get inside you. So that's better for me, right? The thing that works worse for me is if you step here, in a sense, as you're throwing kind of deal, because now I got to really pull.
Right.
Trying to stop that wrap. And your shield's farther forward, so trying to get behind it is harder. But what I can do here still, is I can try to get into here. But now I've got a triangle between my forearm and the weapon.
Right.
To try to catch your basket hilt, that's not as good.
So turn just a little bit so your voice is going toward the camera.
Oh, yeah. So I get a little bit of a triangle from there. So I'm pulling on this to try to hold it. This is all I'm trying to do here is get you to pull it back.
Got it.
Because I want you to think about this. I want you to forget about the shield. Because your head's a little bit there. And what happens there, so if you're here again, right, so go ahead and sit down a little bit. So get to this. Notice my hands are already in a good spot for this.
Right.
This one can slide as I throw, but this one's in the right spot for the shortness.
Right.
Your sword has your shield limited.
Right.
Right? So your head's here. So, but I want you to think about this. Because if you think about your shield, you're going to block my shot. And you still can anyway. It's just but it's a little harder, right? So, ideally what's going to happen here is I threaten this and pull it. You pull that, and I try to come back around for that while my weight's coming forward. Now, I don't want to fall over, obviously, but if I can come to here, I can block down on your sword again. You know, I can try to get to here, and then as you recover back up.
If that, you didn't bring that into the head, right? You had
Well, maybe, but I'm assuming I missed or I couldn't for some reason.
Okay.
But this still gives me a pretty good spot.
And now you're back, well,
In a little different spot. This I wouldn't push on because it's your arm. Right. But it does give me the option to do this and come back to here. Or if I have a moment, I can try to come back around to here. And it'll pull your sword out, which takes some weight out of it, but I know you can't hit me.
okay.
So since you can't hit me in that moment, I can take a crappier shot and just put more energy into it.
Okay, now, once we get into this range, this is where you have a lot of your locks, where you bind. And so start off with describe what it is you're trying to bind on, and I know you talked about multiple points of contact and stuff like that.
Right. So I want your shield to be my shield, right? That's first, because that protects everything from here down pretty much for me, and it's hard to get over to this far side of me, especially if I'm pushing in. So I'm not worried about this so much, because that's just not a really good shot. And I can't cover literally everything, so this is the part I'm going to ignore, because I have it as far away as I can get it from your blade. This is a big threat, this is a big threat, all this and this is pretty big threat. The arm can be, legs sometimes, but most people go for legs die, so it's not a common occurrence. This leg's pretty safe, honestly, once we're real close to the shield.
Yeah.
So what I do is I take this and figure, okay, so this is covered, pretty much. So I'm going to press into this. So now I got to worry about all this stuff. Now again, the defensive starting point for me is usually this, because then I have your weapon is right here with me, so no little kooky backhands are going to happen, and I can stop your flat snap dead.
Right.
So now this leaves you a wrap. Since I know it's a wrap, I want to get to here. I want to follow it up as best I can, as close as I can to the basket, because that cuts the angle.
Okay.
Now from here, I can go like that if I need to, and I'm not just going to pull across, I'm going to sweep across, because if your sword is cocked at all, you might be able to get into my leg or my body. But if I do this, if I miss, I still have a block.
Right.
It's the same thing for, like, if you're running in at me, right? I miss my shot, I don't have a mid-range anything, you're coming in still, right? And I come out to here because I know the flat snap's coming. So I try to catch that here and try to throw over here as I go away.
Got it.
I know it's there, but I have to have this hand over the shield.
So the defensive things that I'm seeing are when you're at your mid-range, you're fully extended, right? And the only difference between that and not even doing a bind, right, is just that you let the sword come in, you let it come in.
Yep.
Right?
Mostly.
And you're in the exact same place.
Pretty close. The only other difference is where I am on the shield. That's probably not obvious. Go up again real quick. I'll show you. So when I get to here, I'm trying to make sure this gauntlet's over.
Demonstrate the gauntlet over the top. He's using his cuff.
Yeah. The other thing I can do too, if you're up here like this, then get here and do that. This is not too bad, because this is hard for you.
There's no way I can get access to pretty
Right. And if you go there, I'll just lock you up.
Right.
So that's bad news there. So you really want to keep doing your shots, but the problem is these are even harder from here. Right? Because then I'm just going to sit on this. At a bare minimum, I can stay alive. And eventually, I don't need to be over anxious, right? I just need to keep you locked up. Something will come over, right? You're eventually going to try to find an opening. You're going to try to disengage. you're going to do something that leaves me something. If you pull straight away, it's that backhand. If you stay over like where we're in that last one, where we're bound up, most people will try to fade, so then I can just step over here, try to do that kind of thing over the top. Or if they fade the wrong way, we're like that, it ends up being this one. So, because the shield's usually over here on me, so I can start that swim with the shield's still on me, and then step away from it, which means they don't have time to react. Hopefully. Now, everybody can beat this sometimes.
Right.
So,
if you're absolutely aware of, right.
Or if you go 100% defense, and we're both 100% defense, nobody dies.
Right.
So, but if you're a good counterpuncher, you should be able to find weaknesses in this as a counterpuncher, like where you can stop me or where you can bind it back up. The big one for me a lot of times, if I'm in close, real quick, so we're here like this, right? And I'm bound up a little too tight or I'm too stiff, like I'm really pushing on this, take your whole body back on stuff. Right, so now I'm kind of in a lurch, right? And if in the moment you do that, you go to my body, yep.
Was that too hard?
I get punch harder. So it's hard to stop, because the only real answer for me, so we're here again, right? We back up, you start to disengage, I decide to do this, but then that leaves that, right? So now I'm fighting to catch back up, and that's hard. Because your weapon's faster, mine's more stable.
Right.
I can block more, you can move quickly.
And your offense has the ability, against both of my implements, unless I have my shields, actually strapped like a side strap shield, I'm never going to beat you on the leverage.
No, it would be hard, because this thing's a giant lever.
Yeah.
And I'm strong enough and big enough, I got a few inches, I've got enough arm strength that even if you try really hard, you're not going to be able to keep that shield from making you around. You can inhibit me, but you can't stop me.
So, so when you get in here, so you're here, you're trying to take this edge against my basket hilt or against there, right? With this arm. Now you want to get your cuff over the top, but if for example I get to here, you're going to now press your elbow in. So he's using his elbow as part of his defense. Okay? So now you get in here. Okay? Now you're choking, now you're sliding your grip, and this is where you get your offensive advantage, right?
Yep. Now, I'm pretty sure, like in a full speed fight, I know I can make this work, but since you have a boss here, I can keep your face a little more open. So if I push to here, it gives me a little bit. And then, you remember how I showed you how to corkscrew in the ground for power?
Vaguely, yes.
Here, I'm going to actually try to hit you.
Yeah. So even it's a short distance, you're getting a lot of leverage.
Yep. So, and when you're moving full speed, you get the advantage of momentum.
Right.
So, bang, 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 boom. It'll hit okay. The other one you could do, same thing. So here like this, you're up a little higher. Yeah, and I had to push back there. And I can try to come up here, try to get to that, pull it back down with me. I can also try to slide up, touch it at the wrist, and pull it down to pull it over. But that's a little bit iffier with this, right? So what I really want to do is I want to make sure that when my shot happens, it's this, so that there's no time for this to go loose. Got it. Ideally, if I can, I'd want to keep it like that and go like that. But that's perfect. You're not really going to get that often. They're almost always going to get the sword free right before you hit it. There is another one too.
You do that swim. Is that when somebody okay? Let's say somebody beats you to a position. Like you're going to try and pin my sword or something.
Sure.
And I get to. Let's say I get to here.
Yep. This is where I'm going.
Okay.
Because I can still see your sword, but I'm cutting off everything but my leg.
And you have that line, right?
Yep.
That's going to give you my head.
Hopefully. And if this doesn't work, another thing I can do here is push, try to come over this way.
Okay.
But that's, you're going to be fighting back, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the beauty of it is, if I do that, we're here like this, and I'm trying to push, but you have your sword free. If I do this, I can run away this way and keep this here, and then your follow-ups will hit this usually. And trying to throw an over-the-head shot when you're in that weird angle,
yeah.
Even if you do hit me, it's probably going to be light, because you can't really get much except a wrist flick at that point.
Yeah, and I'm here. I need my hip to come all the way forward so that it can pop back. You're taking my hip. If you were standing here, I could still get a hip, you know, I could still pop with my hips.
Yep.
But because you're going that way, I need to reload my hips to get the sufficient height.
And the reason people die to me on that, by the way, is because they try that. They feel like they're losing. Instead of resetting and seeing it as an even, nobody won, nobody lost, they feel like they have to kill me before I get away, and it forces their own death. Because if we're up again, so you're free, I push here, I start to leave, you start to back, I can keep pulling on this. I can get back to range pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it leaves you with trying to play catch up instead of being in a dominant position.
Well, you know, the thing is that I actually think this is one of the things that gives you actually defensive advantage, right? When the way Tamiki taught me defense was the idea that your goal when you're playing defense is to make your opponent frustrated, right? And if they get frustrated to the point where they start making mistakes, your defense has won that fight for you.
Yes.
Right? Every time you get out to reset, that's making me more frustrated because now I have to play at the range where I can't hit you.
Right.
I have to cross over the range where you have all of your best shots.
Sure.
And then I have to get to here and get a shot off while you're not binding me.
Yeah. Oh, that's tricky. But there's a certain point where you have to do the, you know, what are my odds? What are my percentages?
Right.
And when you're in a really, really bad position, because once I get out of there, trying to reach around like this is bad.
Right.
So if you try to take that bad position when I'm going into a more favorable one, because I'm going back to my mid-range, and then eventually my long range, and you're stuck flat-footed and turning with your defense messed up, I don't think percentages are in your favor to pursue. Now, that's going off of a general what I've seen. This doesn't mean you couldn't do it or someone else couldn't do it, but in by and large, it seems to get people killed when they try to chase me from that position. But you know, now I can't get certain people there, right? Like I can't get Lars or Branis or any of those guys to get to that position where they chase me. I'm lucky if I survive them. So it's a little different game there, somewhat. But most people, once I get beyond that point, I'm at least getting away. So usually.
Would you mind taking a little break? I need to pop this top.
Yeah, sure, no problem.